Good evening and welcome to the Royal Knights Tribune. It's me, Agitoswiftly, and I think this is the first time Layla Swifty's been on camera. That wasn't just a hands.
I suppose.
I think it is.
Technically.
I think it is. I don't think you've actually been on camera before.
I don't know.
Verbatim.
Maybe not for you.
Oh. Oh. So, to start this off, because this is a PG-13 at best podcast, and not a OnlyFans podcast. Today's agenda will be the delays of EX2, BT9 meta, EX3 spoilers, which I know you've seen none of, and Tier 0 decks. Are they healthy for games?
Okay.
So, EX2 spoilers. EX3 spoilers. We'll do EX2 being delayed. So, for you, those of you who live anywhere else in the world, it didn't matter to you as far as I'm aware, except if you live in Australia. I feel really sorry for these. 'Cause for us, it's obviously a situation of they've come out 2 weeks late. We didn't have anything planned big tournament-wise. And then they've announced that the first big tournament we get during this section of the year is July 31st, which is BT9 format. Which means that if you're buying EX2 for anything other than for prettiness, you've essentially lost all your money down the drain. How do you feel about that?
That sounds like Bandai. I'm sorry to say. Delays are inevitable.
Delays are inevitable if you don't think like, shipping delays, we've had them for over a year now. Shall we put them on the boat early? No. All right. Good job, Bandai. Glad you're still learning at the same pace of like my 1-year-old that, doesn't understand the consequence of his own actions.
Hey, he learns faster than Bandai.
Oh, I hope he does. Bandai can't learn any slower. What do you want? Remakes of Digimon World 3. Awesome. 2 years later, we have no plans to make any more remakes of DS 3 because we wouldn't put the money in it, even though we've had like 1 million players say, we'd like that. So, free money is free money, I guess. No, so in my opinion, so EX2 is obviously out now for the majority of Europe and America, and Oceania comes out on the 25th or 26th, whatever Friday that is, that area. Not the 22nd, which is BT9, first day of pre-release. So as far as I'm aware, BT9 comes out on time in Oceania. Then again, it's Bandai. We'll probably release this and it'll be like the following day. We're like, everything's delayed again. Guess what? Shipping delays! But yeah, so Oceania's, I don't think it's having any more tournaments between now and BT9 format. And the way it's going, BT9 format will be here before their EX2 format.
No idea. Don't follow the tournaments.
So this is the difference. This is like someone who's really into the game, lots of stuff. My loving wife here helping me out by going, I don't know. Good.
I literally play for you.
It's not an OnlyFans podcast, I swear. So we've got no actual official tournaments. Obviously, whoever the German company that's running the Ultimate Cup can turn around and say, hey, look, we're not happy that some of the people in this area don't get enough time to build a deck or whatever their reasoning is. I know a lot of companies, so like, for instance, like Pokemon Company and Konami normally do a situation of we only do events, cards are only illegal 2 weeks after they've come out. So the situation we have, obviously, is like Bandai doesn't do that. So as of the 29th of July, as far as I'm aware, unless they obviously push it back because things are going to get delayed again, everything should be tournament legal for the 31st. Now, obviously, tournament holders can decide if that's going to be the case, but normally, no, it's not the case. They will just essentially go, you don't have cards? No. Oh, that's a shame, because you need those cards. Thanks, whoever you are. Who is the German company that's running the Ultimate Cup?
Jokmuk.
Whatever that is in German. Good job.
I mean, I got an email from them saying that we can enter at least,
yeah,
which is...
Yeah, originally UK, because obviously we're not part of the European Union anymore, was not entered into the tournament.
Or Ireland, or Scotland, or Wales.
No, the European part of Ireland was still able to enter. They were. Southern Ireland could enter still.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what it's like, hey, the Irish can enter. It's like, I'm part Irish, I just don't live in Ireland. So yeah, for those of you that know, I believe it's because we aren't in the European Union anymore, so they were like, no, you could not. And I have no idea where they've got like this weird accent. They're German, so I don't know. They don't sound German. It's more Austrian. So yeah, you could not enter the tournaments. And then like Catherine and other people have messaged saying, hey, did you know that you're the European host of this Ultimate Cup and you're not allowing like 4 countries to enter your competition, and then like, oh, we fixed that issue. We hope that no one would notice, so that more people could enter from not the UK, because regionals are just as good as Ultimate Cups. Wink. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's something else we can probably get to later. So yeah, it's all down to Jobmuck.
Yes.
Jobmuck, if they want to do BT9 format or EX2 format. If they do EX2 format, I think it's probably not as bad as people think, because at least you get one official tournament as EX2, as opposed to having no official tournaments as EX2. And as I've said, you're essentially buying these because these cards are pretty and don't get to use them otherwise. Maybe you get to use them at your locals and have fun. But basically, they come out this Friday. If you had a store that got shipped early, you've probably picked yours up by now. This probably won't be going out till Friday. So, out today, maybe, I don't know. We'll never get a chance to go upload. So that's kind of the issue with that. But what do you guys think? Do you think you should really be having comments? Like, cards that don't have a tournament function? Because everywhere else has had a tournament function where, this is, again, unless you live in the Oceania region, where they might as well just not send you this product and just you go like, you know what? EX2 doesn't exist. It's BT9. But these gift boxes will be sent out to all your stores. They exist.
At some point during summer.
Well, yeah, we're getting them like in July at some point. It just says like in July. And then I think in Australia it even says like the date. So you're getting all your stuff in one go. I don't know why they went like, oh, here's the booster boxes. Awesome. Here's the gift boxes. It's like, you don't want to do it at the same time? No? Alright, sure, whatever. But it makes it easier for you, Bandai.
Staggered releases are normally better when it comes to small things like gift boxes.
I don't think. Well, who for though? Because I think all the big companies are like, yeah, sure, Bandai, we like the idea of like.
It's better for the consumer.
Is it better for the consumer?
My opinion.
Okay, but is that only because they don't sell through local game stores?
We have no confirmation of where we're going to find them this year, so.
We didn't have any confirmation of where we're going to find the other ones until like it was like 2 or 3 weeks before they came out, and then they didn't release them information for it or purchasability till, was it January?
I can't remember.
I did really well on my gift boxes from Smiths. We're friends, yeah? If you can send me the ones that I want, as in the figures, we'll be bros for longer. I think I brought 2 boxes, and I got the Agumon and I got the Tentamon, so I'm very happy. But if I can get the really chubby Agumon who's just holding his belly because he's full of meat, I'll be very happy. If you send me multiple of those, I'll also be happy because I can trade them off.
I'm sure you'll look forward to when they do Gilmon ones.
If they do Gilmon ones, because apparently only the original Tamers get the cool extra little bits. But yeah, you do Gilmon, just send them all to me. Don't worry about anyone else. No one else likes Gilmon, it's just me. Nobody else at all. So that's EX2 essentially. Formats are formats. America had theirs, and we saw like the most horrific games ever, because I think Americans play like 4-year-olds, because none of them can read the cards, Yu-Gi-Oh players, and none of them know what cards do, Yu-Gi-Oh players. So yeah, I love watching the last round of the American tournament. It's literally like watching toddlers slap each other because no one knows what's going on.
Be fair, it's just TCG players in general.
I think it is TCG. It's mostly Yu-Gi-Oh players though, because Pokemon you don't have to read. It's like, this does damage with numbers, and you have less damage. So I kill you. There you go, super easy. And then Magic players just on about like the 13th round of like their battle phase, because whatever reason Magic decided they were going to make like complicated steps complicated rather than going, this all happens at the same time, because no, we must complicate this. You have a step in a step in a step in a step in battle phase 1, step in a step in a step in battle phase 2. It's like, no, just unsuspend. Draw, whatever it is. So I get it wrong all the time. I think it's like unsuspend, draw, upkeep, or unsuspend, upkeep, draw. Battle phase. Entering battle phase, which then triggers like 17 steps of battle phase entering. Battle phase 1. Some like 2 or 3 in between battle phase 1. Battle phase 2. So after battle phase 2. And then main phase 2 into end of phase or end of turn. It's like, why can't all these things just trigger at the start rather than having like 17 different steps you need to take now because you're crewing stuff and throwing things out? Digimon podcast. Magic is terrible. Digimon podcast.
See, I thought you were going about Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh's a lot more simple than that, but it's not because of like, essentially what is it for Yu-Gi-Oh? It's draw phase, main phase 1, draw phase, standby phase, main phase 1. Oh, I want to say battle phase. They could call it something different. Main phase 2, and then in the phase. I don't understand why there's like a second phase. Let's hold it there. The thing I like about Digimon is the fact they went like, you know what, we're gonna have like these 3 beginning phases, and then every else gets done in the main phase. So yeah, you can play cards, you can swing for games or whatever. You can then play some more cards, and then it's end a turn. Awesome. Nothing's complicated. Every other card game, there's 17 layers to this little activity right now. But if you can wait 1 turn while I just read this card to myself, because I've not read this deck yet. That's all he does. Yeah, I'll play this, right? It's fine, yeah? Sure. So, yeah.
You say it's just Digimons are simple, but teaching those kids this weekend.
Okay, so I was going to put this in anyway at the end, but you can do it now. So, we were meant to both go to the local Comic-Con. We live in a small town. They've essentially gone like, hey, we want to like run a Comic-Con. Anyone interested? We both went, yeah, we'll come down and teach Digimon because we think Digimon's really cool. Hopefully Bandai doesn't just throw it under the bus any second now because One Piece is coming out. It's like, hey, cash cow to cash cow, we got to go. I'm still waiting for that Gundam TCG game. They're not going to make it because they spent like, was it like $20 million, $30 million on the new exciting Gundam experience thing that everyone hates. Good job, Bandai. Yeah, if you didn't hear, they took the profits from like Digimon and then sent it into Gundam because Gundam needs more profits apparently because it's failing business. Oh yes, £400 mech toys are a failing business. Probably reduce the cost a bit. Well, that's like secondary retail. They probably go for like 150, I think. So yeah, so in the end, we were meant to go together. Our babysitter, childcare was like, oh, I'm really sorry, I can't do it anymore. So I was going to go, and the oldest wasn't very well, so he said, actually, can Daddy stay with me? Of course, I love my son, I'll give him cuddles. And then he sat in his room all day watching his Kindle, watching TV. So I played like 7 hours cuddling the baby, which he didn't seem to mind. He was happy watching music videos from his favourite creator, so he's happy. Frog Leap Studios, if anyone knows them, or doesn't, go look them up. They're really good if you like all sorts of music in a style of metal and rock. And indie, occasionally. So yeah, Catherine went down to
the old town hall.
Oh god, things are gas now. And demonetised. Yeah, so she went down to the old town hall. She did teaching of the game, but to, I think, was it like 3 adults and then like 12 children? So into that degree?
Something like that. And then there was one Digimon player who actually turned up and was like, I know how to play!
Oh yeah, this is a teacher. Just come down. But we got really lucky. So our locals, that's like 100 miles away, because England. He was like, yeah, you know, if you want to promote the business, we'll give you some stuff for the event. So he was like, sure. So he gave us like a load of old store promos, extra stuff for pre-release from old pre-releases. He was like, here you go, just like, you know, just hand them out, just hand out a flyer, give them. Did you give the flyers out? I
literally left on the end of the table and everyone like took them as they were going by.
There you go. Good job, Eddie. Did it for you. Hopefully you'll get some business. Yeah, she gave us some stuff, and Catherine was like, you know, you got loads of bulk. Give the bulk away. Give the shiny bulk away. Sure, whatever. I don't know how much came back because it actually looked
a lot still.
A lot came back. So I don't know what anyone took because there was nothing super good in that bulk, but there was just bits and bobs that looked pretty.
Just mainly BT5 stuff because your case.
Because we had a case of BT5 and everything. BT5 essentially is just sunk into the ground and essentially has become a money pit of doom. Which is fine. I got lied to though, but it's fine.
I mean, you pulled 2 of the cards that you wanted at the end of the day.
So the only reason I brought a case is because, according to the Japanese thing, and obviously it's my fault, the alternate art Omnimon X antibody was meant to be super hard to pull. Like, it was guaranteed like 1 per case. So I'm like, sure, I'll buy a case, because it's what I wanted, and the Japanese price thing of the card at the time was like £300. So, like, okay, it's a card that's got some value to it. I'm going to pull it, I'm going to hopefully get it, and I think the first box opened, I pulled it. I was like, great. Doing really good. If you watch the channel, you've watched the Seal series, you'd see that we opened it in like the first case. It's like, and if you follow me on Twitter, I'll put a Twitter link because I never normally do that, to be honest. It's my background. It's like, Twitter, we got the cool card that I pulled. And then I think like episode 2 or 3 we pulled the second one. I'm like, crap. Because like, you're meant to be like obviously 1 per box.
It almost wasn't a sealed case because...
Yeah. So Eddie, bless his
soul,
darkened heart, took them all out. I was like, I've got all these cases. And I don't know why. I mean, I say I don't know what happened because normally when you go to like a pre-release, you only buy one box per pre-release. And I normally go for 2, so I do the morning session and the afternoon session. So you get 2 boxes. I brought a case of Eddie, and he just goes to me like, "Do you want to take them home now?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd help because this time, that time last year, they had a tournament for regionals. I think it was all because it was last August, so I think it was regionals.
Possible.
And it was like, oh yeah, UK, you get pushed back like 4 weeks or whatever it was for BT5, but you can enter, but the event is literally the day after. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy a case, I'll get all the cards I need. I think, what did I play? I can't remember.
I
can't remember.
Honestly can't remember.
It was something BT5 based. It wasn't Lord Nightmon though, because that's for weak boys and girls. Could have been Shoutmon.
Possible.
I did like Shoutmon. Shoutmon was a really fun deck.
That deck is still built in the drawer.
Oh, there you go. Add some more cards to it because we've got the alt arts now that people are selling thinking they're actually worth a lot of money when they're not. Just cool to have. Yeah, see people saying like the VMon alt arts are like £50 a playset. It's like, just go buy 4 boxes and sell everything else. It'll be fine. Matt's £10. Ooh. So yeah, City Games, loads of stuff. Tangents are tangents. We're going to go through things. We come back to where we are. So yeah, Catherine ended up teaching a few children. But yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, do you have a local scene? And we're like, we are the local scene. Because that's technically what it was. But for a long time, and occasionally if I ever get Jim round again, which should be this Sunday, he'll play. Now, if you're wondering who Jim is, Jim has been on the channel before. I did a little weird interview with me a long time ago about his Pokemon channel that he stopped doing because he didn't think it was getting any growth, and then didn't do it for like 2 years and got like 100 new subscribers because Pokemon gets subscribers like and always will, apparently. Mine didn't, but people will.
Yours isn't Pokemon.
Yours used to be.
Mashup.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing I've ever done. I'm just a card game channel, which is awful unless you're a certain person who can just do really well and get like 100,000 subscribers and mess up most of the news that you do and can't dedicate yourself to one game, so you have to spread yourself thin and then not know enough about anything that's going on. No names. But if you know who I'm talking about, then you're obviously in the same boat that I'm in. Yeah. So if you're a Digimon player, you definitely know what I'm about. So back to teaching children who can't read because they're like 4 or 5 years old, and despite how smart you think you might be, average 4 or 5-year-old can't really read more than maybe dad or mum or their own name. And that's honest. Like, children can't read more than like their own name. They can figure out who they are, and they can finally figure out the word dad and mum.
Depends on the child. There are children who are...
There are obviously some very smart children over there, but they're like the 1%ers. We don't talk about the 1%ers because they bring the rest of the group down. So you got to think about the average group of people. Like the average IQ in America is like 89. That means that at least like 49% of those people are dumber than that, and that's pretty bad. So, hi America. I don't know what the UK one is, to be honest. So this isn't essentially me picking on the Americans intentionally. This is just, I don't know the stats of the UK or Europe as a whole. Just that the Americans are very proud of their percentage. It's like, that's not a good percent. If your average is 100, that's not so bad. That's pretty good. I think the average IQ for adults in the UK was like 120.
I have no idea.
Which is fairly good. Just fairly intelligent. But obviously that just shows you probably the amount of people that take the IQ tests are probably more averagely intelligent than the people that don't want to take them, because I don't want to be a dummy. Can't really blame them. So yeah, teaching is fine. The game is 6+ or 12+, where depending on what packaging you see, because I think they're card games.
In tabletop gaming, it says it's for 12+, but on the packaging of the boxes, it says 6+.
Yeah, so it depends who you talk to or who's advertising for the company. Depends on is this actually a 12+ game or is this actually a 6+ game? And the answer might surprise you. It's whoever can pick up the card game and read it. And if you can read it, you're doing better than like 90% of the American players that I've seen at the Ultimate Cups, because goddamn people, read your card. That's all you got to do. Swing. What does it do? I can't read. Words, yeah. It's like, don't play like America. Like, I know Japan basically said like Ragnar Lord, the like ST13 deck isn't very good because essentially Jesmon just slaps him in the dick. Don't even attempt it. You guys can't read. It's just a keyword to the deck. Like, you look at this and it's like, does these things. What does it do? I don't know. Think I can read? No, apparently you can't. So no, that's the cool thing about cards. You can read them because they're on your side of the field normally. If you're on your opponent's side of the field, and in all fairness, you're on webcam, you can't normally read them because we don't have the technology to punch through the screen yet and grab someone from the other side and drag them through and go, what does it say? So you have to kind of understand there and think, wins your own card, though you don't know what it does. That's on you, dummy. So, kills me inside. Kills me inside. We could have had an Imperial deck that got first place, but they just couldn't read that they're jamming on it. No. So, children were learning things because children actually understand and learn things if you teach them occasionally.
Yeah, they were really, like, very into the game. Most of them very, I suppose the right word would be enthusiastic to learn. And that's probably the best part about obviously kids. It's like
they're enthusiastic. Yeah, they haven't been crushed by life yet. It's great.
It's like, hey, I want to play. Oh, mummy, that's Pokemon. No, it's not Pokemon. No, is it like Top Trumps? No, I have no idea what Top Trumps is like, but probably not. No,
I would say Top Trumps is kind of like a weird version of Snap.
But yeah,
I'm probably wrong about that, but I feel like that's how Top Trumps works. But all fans, even our oldest, even though he's basically grown up with Pokemon and Digimon and Magic and all these other card games, he also come up randomly and go like, this is a Digimon card. It would be a Pokemon card. Like, oh no, it's a Pokemon card. So you have to sort of say, what's the difference? Flip them over. If there's a ball on the back, it's Pokemon. If there's like an oval shape on the back, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! And everything else is probably Digimon.
Or Magic?
Not necessarily, because a lot of the Magic stuff is out of his reach, and it wouldn't necessarily be in his brother's room. So yeah, so that's sort of that. But we asked him, is there a local scene here? And as I said, with a local scene, we did used to run it at the house. I think the average was like 4 to 6 people.
Yeah.
You can fit 6 people on this thing.
It's a 6-foot table.
It's a 6-foot table. As long as you people aren't chunky like me, you can generally get enough people on it. You can sit in the corner. You can get someone in the middle. You can sit someone in the other corner. It's not comfortable, but you can do it. So essentially what you do is that, like, is there a scene in the area? Which is very weird. They used the word scene, didn't they? You said scene, but did they use the word scene? I think
one person said, like, where's the local playing scene? And I was like,
So that's a player. That's someone who's played anything in their life that's competitive.
Technically we don't have one.
It's like, so a little birdie told me.
My husband goes all the way to Birmingham for his, is what I said.
Where'd you go? I travel like 100 miles away to go play it. Griffin's Gaming, they're great. If you look them online, you live in the UK or probably in Europe. If you buy enough stuff from them, they'll send it to you.
But most of them was like, where can we play this game? It's like, currently nowhere.
Yeah. A little birdie tells us.
Yes, a little birdie told me.
The local toy shop, which would be the local LGS soon, because they do. Well, it's very weird. So they are a toy shop, but they're also like they have Magic, they have Warhammer. I think they've said like doing Flesh and Blood. Before they went to do Digimon, which is in the area, I'm pretty sure there's like 30 or 40 people in the area that actually play Digimon. It's like you've got like...
There's more than 3 or 4 people who play Digimon in the area.
I said 20 to 30.
Okay, did you?
Yeah.
I misheard you.
That's what I live with, by the way. It's like, you're gaslighting me. No, you just didn't hear me, or you are deaf. Obviously, if Catherine at some point wants to rewatch this and go like, you lied to me, and there you go, scumbag I am. But yeah, there's like 20, 30 players in the local area, and that's just like in our small town. There's like maybe 10 Magic players in that small area, but they get more dominance over the play area because they tricked the store owner into playing Magic first.
You can't say they tricked him.
They did trick him because it's like, we want someone to... Basically, we used to run Magic here as well, and then like they've had like 2 years of no one doing Magic events anywhere. And they're like, we need to get someone in on this. And I think they did Warhammer at the store, and then the person who like helps run the Warhammer stuff was like, yo, I like Magic. Can we have Magic here on Fridays? And I think they're like, we'll think about it. Tricked him into doing it, and now it's like, yeah, we do Magic on Fridays. But they're moving stores, and they have been for like 6 months. Not their own fault, just we live in an area where a lot of the local buildings are owned by people who don't live in the area. They live in London. So essentially it's like trying to like send letters through the post is probably the quickest way to get to them because they don't read their emails. And so eventually, I think since before Christmas, we're in July now, so that's like 7 to 8 months now. They've essentially been going, we'd like the property, can we move in? Yeah, of course you can. Can we see the property? Of course you can. Right then, we'd like to sign a contract. Silence. That's not the part normally where you want to go silence when you like trying to like have someone pay your stuff for you. I've got something that you can rent from me. Sure, send me a contract. I'll think about it. Do you not like money? Mr. Krabs is like rolling over his grave here. Do you not like money? What's going on?
Clearly not Eddie.
Or Eddie, yeah. Mr. Griffin. Hello, I like money. So there's essentially spent like most of the last year and probably like a little bit at the end of last year just trying to move into new venue. It's not massive, I think. Not going from like a square into like a rectangle. They're moving into essentially a sensible sized building. Not like the American stores you have over there. I've seen some of them. Jesus Christ, you guys have got space for days. And then like I've heard a few people say, "Oh, what's your rent per month?" It's like, "Oh, like £2,000, $2,000 a month." I'm thinking like, you get that much space? It's literally like the size of like a postage stamp in like the town. It's like that much money. It's like
But isn't like the same with Eddie's? His is a really big store, and he doesn't pay a huge amount, does
his is
he?
quite. He's a fairly big size store. It's not massive, but it's fairly big, and he pays basically what I was be paying for like the postage stamp store around here. I think they wanted like 13,000 a year for like this
13 and a half.
3.5. That's before everything else. For basically the size of like a living room and kitchen, which it's a bit bigger than what you can see. It goes a little bit more that way, and there's kitchen behind that wall that you
Which is
can't
probably
see.
about the same size as the living room.
Probably the size of you're probably looking like 16
Our living
foot by
room's
like
14
10.
foot.
There you go. So you probably look like 28 foot by like 14, but like switch the diameter so it's longer than it is deep. Yeah, they wanted something ridiculous. They wanted like 30.5 a year before. I was like, oh, is there storage? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, can I see the storage? It's like, sure. And the storage was like a cupboard. Like under the stairs cupboard. I'm like, this is your storage area? Yeah, you can fit some boxes in here. Yeah, like two. So like you'd have to basically like rack the whole room around just to try and get everything in there and have like maybe two tables in there. It's terrible. But the place they're going to is fairly bigger. Probably about maybe twice the size, maybe three times as big. But they want to divide it into areas. So they want like a children's area where like children go with their parents, and I can look at all the little children toys, all the smart education toys. They have another room for.
It's golf toys.
What she said. They're gonna have another room that's going to be like the Warhammer room or like the model room. So they're gonna have like just a big table for Warhammer stuff, and then either in a room side to side to it or at the back of it, they're gonna have a couple of tables for card games. Fantastic, great. We're a small town. It makes sense that you don't want to have like 30 tables because no one's people are going to turn up for 30 tables. But having essentially like 4 square tables or 2 square tables that hold like 6, 7 people per table, it's all right. Especially since the name of the game will be like, I think they want to do Wednesdays going to be Digimon, Fridays is going to be Magic, and I think they want to do like Pokemon on Sundays. Sure. That's because they only want like one event on a day, which makes sense because you don't want to like overcrowd people. Yar. And then I think Monday's gonna be their day. Monday and Tuesday might be the day they're closed. So it's like Monday, Tuesday off. Wednesday, Digimon. Thursday, quiet day. Friday, Magic. Saturday, Warhammer. Sunday, Pokemon. Great. And then he goes to me. He took me to a side a couple of months ago because I haven't been back for a while because I don't really like Magic too much. It's very boring to play 1v4 when you're playing Commander. I think like a 1v1 game where everyone's playing team games. Let's just play Twin of the Dragon and do that. And he's like, oh, I want you to run the Digimon stuff for me. Fair enough, I can do it. I help judge with Eddie's stuff. I've been judging for tournaments on Discord moderness. So I'm happy to help judge. And obviously, the more you judge, the better you get it. And obviously, more like calling people out for being dickbags. Because 9 times out of 10, the reason why someone's confused is because someone has to explain the thing. Americans, read your cards. Happens everywhere, but it just seems to be very prevalent. Whenever I see like a feature match from America, it's always like, I don't know how this works. But they were like, oh, can you also teach Pokemon? Because you wanted to do Pokemon as a career, didn't you? It's like, no, as a career. It's on YouTube. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to make me a career out of it. If a million of you people out there watch this and you want to support us, you more than likely to. We don't have a Patreon or anything, but you just subscribing and watching 10 seconds of this to get us an ad revenue roll. We're rich in days, and we can make better cameras and lighting and nice look at the nappies. I don't know if you can hear that, but I thought it was my drink whistling, and it's just some dog outside howling.
Whimpering.
I was like, what's my drink doing? So yeah, it's like, oh, you can do the Pokemon stuff because I heard that you opened your YouTube channel originally to become a Pokemon master, which is the correct term, I believe, because is it a Pokemon champion senior now? Because I'm so old and decrepit, as my knees and joints just falling off of me as we go. And I was like, yeah, I started my channel because I wanted to go essentially like because first I don't know, it's happening this year now. Back in 2020, when the big C happened, me and my mate had planned to go essentially just like join some Pokemon leagues, get some points, and try and get ourselves into Worlds, which at the time we could have done. If you won a regionals or you got like high placing in regionals, you could have got your invite, or you could have got enough points to basically build them up until Worlds. If you were within the top percentage, obviously you get your invite. Go me! I built the deck that I think won the or was it the online invitations that they held instead. Who would have thought that Zamazenta with a defensive card and an aggressive card? Station. That we pulled, I think, in like 3 gold cards for it.
Pulled 2 golds, 1 regular, and then
the boxes came out, the tins came out, so we got the tins.
Yeah.
But we never pulled a full art.
No, I bought it for you in the end.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know we got it. It was like, oh, I need to get one of those still. I need to finish that set still. Which you might actually have to.
I need to finish a lot of sets, I have.
Yeah, I've already said, for those of you out there who are like, you're on Digimon, I might get myself the base set of Gen 9, that's it then, that's done me for Pokemon for that like whole 3-year cycle. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, sure, like I know enough about it. And then like looking at the game nowadays, like nothing's really changed in terms of like how the game plays. It's just like there's new mechanics, like in Pokemon games. Oh cool. So what's the new mechanic? You get really big really fast, so you just smash someone in the face. Awesome. I can totally understand that as a gameplay of anything really. Oh, it now has a lot more HP, but punches you in the face for all your HP? Very good. That's what I thought there. Very good. So, yeah, like, sure, I could teach the children how to do it. And they were like, oh, what's the... Oh, and they got tricked by Asmodee because Asmodee will lie to you because, you know, they want to sell stuff to you and you just have to nod and go, yeah, you obviously know what you're talking about. So, and they brought the double decks, which are like £30 retail. I think they were selling them for like 25. And they were like, oh, are these any good for teaching people? And I was like, nope. He's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, I'm pretty sure like 9 times out of 10, these decks have like cards that are already out of rotation. They'll come back in, but they're not normally worth putting in like real decks. And he's like, oh, do you think they'll sell? No. He's like, oh. And I was like, well, he's like, oh, what's good to actually like people learn to teach and stuff and obviously take home with them. And I said, Battle Academy is meant to be really good because it teaches the mechanics. And I think there's like different styles in it. And I think Battle Academy 2 comes out soon. The blue one. I think
it's already out.
Or it's out now, maybe.
I don't know.
But yeah, a lot of people have said, like, if you want to learn how to play Pokemon, Battle Academy is really good. Digimon, I think, is fairly straightforward in comparison to, like, other card games. Pokemon is probably, like, the nearest in, like, how simple as a card game it is, because it's essentially...
Just requires extra special cards.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's literally like, here's a deck. The deck literally tells you how this deck will run inside. It tells you all the different things, all the mechanics, and, like, when you do things, like, what certain mechanics do. Obviously, I think because of BT8... we lost some of like the keywording and things, so you don't have like cards that are just all text and there's a picture behind going like, "Hey, I'm here."
They basically took out the stuff like unless it's Dora Greymon and stuff like that, things like that.
So it's all the things that like these aren't technically the named Digimon because localization, and then they bastardize other localization things. Like, look, just be consistent. Rogermon, I want it back. I want the alt art to say Rogermon.
No.
Don't I want? So that's that essentially. So yeah, so I might teach a little bit of Pokemon stuff, but we mentioned it when you said like if obviously people want to see and come down and play and learn to play, it's probably better that you have Catherine teach the children how to play, because it's not that I'm not nice to children. It's just I won't let them win intentionally. So if you kick them ass, you kick them ass. It's cool, good on you, good job. But I'm not going to like pull some punches when I can just slap. No, don't come back again, because they won't come back again if you beat the ass out of them. Whereas I think Catherine was a bit nicer to them.
Children learn by a positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement.
They do. I agree they do, but then you get little snotballs like our oldest that's essentially just like, well, I won one game in 75, so I must be the greatest person ever to play the game. It's like, right.
It was like like the young lad who came back for seconds with me.
Well, you like, did he beat in the second time?
No, he won both times.
So there you go. So that's okay. So come back. It's like, oh, man, this gambling.
He enjoyed it though.
I was trying to explain to Catherine, it's basically like gambling. And she was like, what? I was like, so, for those of you who don't gamble. Gambling's stupid. Like, technically if you buy a booster box and you open them for a certain card that you'll get, that's gambling. You're stupid. I'm also stupid. I do it all the time. So you gamble, you get to like a gambling site, they'll give you like free spins. And you will win on your free spins. Maybe not like a lot, but you'll win something. That'll itch your brain. And your brain goes, I can win things. I've won something. I like the dopamine rush. I'll just spend let's say, that £10 I just won. So you give them back the £10 they just give you. And you're like, oh, all right, I didn't get anything in these 10 spins. But if you put like an extra like tenner in, I'll obviously win something, yeah? So you put another tenner in, and you get a roll. Maybe you win £5 back. You're like, yeah, I'm winning some money back now. Like, and then next thing you know, you look at like your overall averages. You've won like £200, but you've probably spent like £1,000.
It's like what Jim did, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like Jim. Eventually, he was like, "Oh, I'll obviously make all this money," and then he looked at his like lifetime average because a lot of the apps tell you now because it's like keep an eye on your gambling. This all we can really do. We want your money, but we don't want to have to go to court because we're going to win and you're going to lose even more money. So they have a thing on the apps now. It says like essentially, is it like lifetime like gambling wins and losses or like percentages that you win?
I have no idea.
It will tell you like how much you've spent. It will tell you how much you've won. I've known a few people who've been very lucky who've got like slightly more out of it than they've put in, but like 99% of people who put in there have lost more money than they've made. Unless you get like super lucky early on, win really big, and then like, never touch it again. So I had a friend who I think he's put like 10 grand in there, but I think he's made like 30 grand out of it because he got very lucky early on. But he's like, yeah, I've made money out of it. I should put it down now. As far as why he doesn't gamble on that site anymore. Probably other sites he gambles on, but there we go. But gambling is bad. Children don't do it. This is a PG-13 gambling review. I spoke about, right? None of my content's for children. We just very rarely swear.
Swearing is horrible.
Swearing is fun. Makes you feel good in the dopamine.
Singing also does the same.
In the dopamine. So hopefully we'll have a local scene. And then we will teach the children and the adults because I don't pull punches. And it's better that people learn firsthand that, if you win, good job. If you lose, play again. Because gambling with children is not always good. Shouldn't let them win because if they think they're winning all the time, when they have to go up against someone who's actually competitive and won't let them win, they'll get very grumpy about it and be like, oh. And then you get a lot of people like, I can't read cards. But you're 5 years old, of course you can't read cards.
Say that, and one of them, like some of the younger kids were reading the cards better than the adults were.
What's the thing do? I'll swing. Oh, okay.
That was the only thing that most kids forgot to do is return the card to say they were attacking.
I'm going to attack with this one. Turn the card. I attacked. You turn the card. Why? So you've shown that you've used the card's ability to swing at me. Just turn the card. No. Agenda number 3. No, we're still on agenda number 2 because we didn't do number 2 yet because we did the tangent in the middle. It's only a half an hour tangent.
Tangents are tangents. You're good at that.
Yeah, they are. I'm very good at it. If you want to fill time, I will help you. Just trying to figure out... there we go. So, yeah, BT9, if there's no delay... I haven't even got a clue if you finished off the EX2 stuff, but we're going to go to BT9 because it's 40 minutes and I don't remember. I don't want to start again and you guys are like, do we have this? Yeah, we probably did, but I've forgotten everything. It's been a long day. BT9, no delays as of yet, but tournament legal for Ultimate Cup of July 31st. So yeah, we did technically cover this within the EX2 stuff. So, should BT9 be legal for the 31st of July if there's no delays in the region? European region, before people say, because the UK is a region, but the Europeans get upset that they don't class us as European.
In reality, I'd say no, the card shouldn't be legal. At the end of the day, like most other card games, you get given, like, is it like a week or two before cards become legal?
They normally, they call it 2 weeks, it's 14 days of tournament legal leeway. So the idea is essentially that if you know a good deck's coming out on like the 30th of July, and you've got a regionals or a nationals on like the 1st of August, those cards aren't going to come up and like kick in the ass. And the reason why, especially in things like Yu-Gi-Oh, is because you've got to learn the interactions, and you've got to learn what the cards do, and something they don't do, you've got to read the damn cards.
Agreed.
Obviously, Digimon, normally, most of the text on Digimon cards is like a little line that goes like, oh, when you do this, gain secure attack, or when you swing and suspend, or, it has jamming, so if you hit into a monster in security, it doesn't kick you in the ass on the way back out. Whereas, like, in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like, oh, when you do this, activate the ball scratching mechanic, and then when you do that, flip the card in someone's eye, and then no one reads those things. Like Chaos Sword, we throw it in the air, hope it lands on something. Not tournament legal anymore. For that reason, throwing cards in the air is quite dangerous, and you can stab someone in the eye. Don't do it. So, personally speaking, as someone who's had to go into a tournament before where you had like literally seconds of time between building decks, I don't really mind. Panic and Chaos is fantastic, especially when everyone has to suffer the same amount of panic and chaos. not just specifically like one country. Thanks, Asmodee. Obviously, things could be delayed. I would like it if they actually announced it. If like someone's getting delayed, that way you go like, look, like Portugal's not getting something till like the 20th of like August. So essentially, for Ultimate Cup and even regionals, we're gonna have to do EX2 format. I'll be okay with that. I'm buying EX2 stuff. For those people that aren't, because I've already seen like there's nothing that they need from this set to go into EX. That's going to BT9. That's obviously kind of kicking the dick, and that's one way to make artificial inflation on cards. Oh, people need this stuff. Money. Great thing about all the alternate arts from EX2, hopefully, or should be, because I've seen the prices have gone like really high, but they should be coming down by next week. Should be. Is there's no regionals for a lot of these needed cards. It's like the Terriermon stuff doesn't technically need to be played in BT9. Arena stuff doesn't really get seen again until BT10. Guilmon, yeah, there's a Guilmon deck in BT9. I'm going to build it because it's simple. But at the same time, it's not exactly tier 1, so people aren't exactly going to be like huffing them up for tier 1 stuff. The Digimon, though, will probably get picked up a lot because it goes into the new red-yellow security control deck. More security control? Yeah! Because they get like new options. They get the yellow red Tamer, which gives you, I think, new memory if you've got a yellow and a red on the field. And it's there's a new option card that I think that's really good. It's like the X-antibody version of Rise Greymon's Revolver Charge, or what it's called. If I care, I'll put something on the screen. I do care, but I probably won't still. Editing work. I've got to listen to all this again with my gruff voice of dyingness at like 10 p.m. at night, and I want to go to bed after this because I need to have a shower because the words are then I go to bed. So, manly noises. So that's kind of like the only thing I really see getting brought up besides simpliness. And I've already said, like, if you're a simp for these cards, you're going to buy them because Tamers is like a fantastic card set, as well as it being like a fantastic series. And a lot of people do love Tamers more than they love Season 1 and 2. And that's the weird thing. Like, a lot of people complain about like Gen 1ers and Gen 2ers from like Pokemon, but I think Tamers is like the complaint set that everyone has because the original series was okay, Digestions was okay, Season 2 was different, but still okay. Tamers are just super lot of fun, and Stephen Bloom, my hero.
He's really a Stephen Bloom simp, not a Guilmon simp.
I'm both. Love Stephen Bloom. Love to meet the man. Eventually, maybe. If he ever goes to a con in the UK, I might swing down and be like, sign my face.
I will never wash again.
I'll never wash again. Fake pens just like melting into my cheek.
You know what you could do? You can have it signed and then you can have it tattooed over.
Yeah, people do that. That's weird. I wouldn't go that far. I'd just like, here's a piece of paper or like a Gallimon card. It's on the Gallimon card. It'd be like,
just take your Digimon DVD that you're getting for your birthday.
Stab into it, please.
Get him to sign all the Tamer discs.
Maybe. Oh god, no! Just destroy the discs. Oh yeah, they've all burnt through with that felt tip pen. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I think a lot of people like Tamers. Like Stephen Bloom was the like producer and like the translator, and then like the script writer, and also voice act in the series. And it's just like, yeah, he did such a good job, and it's like such a memorable series because there's a lot of underlying. It's early Simpsons in the sense of like there's a lot of like jokes that are good for children and good for adults because they have double meanings. Double entendres are fantastic, especially if like it doesn't hurt anyone because your parents probably weren't listening to when you were listening to it as a child, and you watch it as an adult now and you're like, that's funny now still because that's not what I thought they said as a child. Good, good, my favourite. So yeah, EX2 is BT9 essentially. Even like BX2 was D-Reaper format, and if you don't have to deal with D-Reaper, why deal with it? But now we're going to go to a format now, which is just essentially, oh look, building stacks. So you'll have War Greymon stack, you'll have a Metal Greymon stack, you'll have a Guilmon stack, you've got Grandis stack, you've got this new Alpha Corian Ryu build stack. Purple has Baelstar because she deals with stacks quite well, and you probably got something right in purple, right? No, okay. You can still play Beelzebub, but Beelzebub's going to be quite good, especially if you mill your whole thing out in like turn 2. It's like, oh sweet, I swing for like 4 security. Let's go. I win! Yay! And what else is there? And that's kind of it. Like just your usual. Scoot control still the yellow thing, and then that's what we have. And then you got to think what's that current meta then. So essentially, July Ultimate Cup, regionals in August, and the store championships are all going to be BT9 focused, as obviously as long as we don't get any delays.
Which there will be.
Which there probably will be, because it's Bandai /
I've already predicted there'll be delays.
So the issue I always have is if they don't mention there's any delays after the 14-day mark, so as of next week, next Monday I think, or this Friday. If they don't mention anything by this weekend, so coming to Monday there's any delays, everything should be on time. Now, the reason I think that BT sets are a bit better than EX sets is because there's no pre-release for EX sets, so now having to deal with additional cards. Whereas when it comes to BT, and then obviously now formats are dependent on it, and they don't going, Spain didn't get BT9, so everyone's got to suck it up and deal with D-Reaper format, and obviously people are going to go buy D-Reaper cards because it's £4 for the whole deck. Jesus Christ, £4, I know, right? I think the most expensive thing in that deck is TKs.
No idea.
Yeah, I think TKs or Karis. It's if you get add security, Karis
never look at me for knowledge.
£4 for a playset, and then TK is £40 for a playset. It's just and then all your D-Reaper stuff costs 17p together. It's yes, my super expensive deck. 4 cards cost this much money. Oh, what are they? TKs. What was the most expensive D-Reaper card? Reaper. How much is that? 7 pence. Oh, wow, what a deck. Yeah, so a lot of people love having super low rarity decks. There's nothing wrong with having low rarity budget decks. It's just shouldn't be easily the best deck in the format. Which it was in Japan, but that's because they run best of 1 formats, and then in the Western world we obviously run best of 3, and it doesn't work out so well because obviously tactics a little different.
They do best of 1?
Yeah, the reason why Japan's... So, for those of you who don't know, apparently Catherine didn't know, Japan runs best of 1 metas. So aggressive decks work really well because you're literally kicking the shit out of your opponent, and it's I can't do anything. It's not like in the Western world where you go I had a bad game 1, I'll go to game 2. You get 1 game. If your opponent literally opens up the shit and you're yeah, I guess I'm not playing, then sucks to be you because you're not playing the game. And there's no comeback mechanic. You just get beaten down like this sad thing. So the BT 7 and 8 meta, and possibly the BT 9 meta, was essentially a security control meta because it's essentially a situation of it doesn't matter if my hands are bad. I get 4 or 5 turns to recover, and then I just basically whittle you down a bit more. Whereas Blue Stun was the other deck. It's oh, well, obviously I'll chip away at you. But Security Control doesn't care about Blue Stun because it's yeah, I'll just recover my security and then nothing happens because I don't care if you get rid of my sources because swing. Oh, yeah, you can't recover. Well, 4 more turns for me and 17 for you. Good luck, Tamer. That's why...
You sound like let's game it out then.
Oh, God, yeah. So that's the thing I hate about that format in general. Essentially, it's 2 decks that just don't care about the other person to the point where whoever does the fall asleep first is going to win.
That'd be me.
Maybe. So yeah, nothing hybrid formats still being here, and I think they're even in BT10 still doing well. Oh, this deck's really good for literally 2 years. When are we going to nerf it? Oh, there's no issues or problems. Oh, okay. No, that's not how it works. You saw bloody Saviour being this dickhead just running around kicking people in the face and teeth. Ban that shit eventually. You got Jitsilfa running around, she's fine. Healthy. You can only play 4 of them, and you can recover them into your deck and find them again. And then you can put them in security and find them again in security. And then if you got another Susan...
Told you, Japan prefers yellow.
Yeah, just I think...
It's the golden child.
I think it's the case, they got so dirty in the first, BT set and the structure deck, they're we've got to make it to you guys. You're going to be, tier 1 for the rest of your life now, because we just screwed you over for the first, 6 months. That's what it was.
It's the golden child.
It is the golden... I know it's the golden child, it's the yellow child. It sounds racist. It wasn't meant to be racist, I swear.
That's why it's golden child.
Golden child. It's the holy child. There we go.
Rather than being the black sheep.
Yeah, black's definitely the black sheep. Jesus Christ. What decks do you have? We spent 4 sets building up to 1 deck. Awesome! Good job there, Bandai. Took literally a year for you to build 1 archetype in 1 colour. Good job. Try harder next time.
Black and purple get the least love out of all of the colours, I think.
That's because purple got Lilith and was this was a mistake. It's but she's not too good that we can ban her. Fenton, shout out to you always. Yeah, Fenton, playing 10,000 hours of Lilith Loop to just still be fantastic at it. I have no... BT11 is going to be more X-Cross stuff, so here's hoping for everyone who likes Lilithmon that they get X-Antibody Lilithmon, because Fenton needs some new toys. Because Fenton's just out here like, I've literally worn these cards now. I've had them for like a year and a half and just nothing to do with them.
The backs have disappeared from all the shuffling.
The Lilithmon is literally just the front image now. The back of the card's gone. If you actually
That's why it has sleeves.
So it's got 17 layers of sleeves. Yeah, it's just bulking it up now. So it's like, they're not marks. There's just no sleeve left. It's just like, card. It's just the picture.
It was something because I got asked by one of the adults, why have they got sleeves on? To protect the cards.
In the year of our Lord 2022, it's been 28 years since sidewalk magic was a thing. Who the hell is asking this question? Why are you protecting your property? I don't know. Do you have a key to your front door? Yeah. What are you that for? Oh, so I can get in. Well, what'd you lock your door for? So it's protected. Use on cards. Simple as. Oh. So, you're saying no to BT9 for Ultimate Cup?
I'd say it's a bad idea. I think they should give it a little bit of a leeway, a little bit of grace period kind of thing.
I'm saying yes, because I like to suffer in my misery.
You suffer daily.
So the weird thing, isn't it, each one year now, before anyone says what's going on. So the weird thing about the whole like BT9 format thing is there's no decks really that need to have 4 of something in the super rare slots. I think besides Alphamon. Because it's a new Alphamon, it does an Alphamon thing, it Digivolves, it slaps people around the face. Digivolves into the Uraken mode, or it's called, and slash you with a big sword instead. But a lot of the other stuff, the antibody stuff, only needs 2 of. So you only need like 2 X-Antibody Metal Greymon. You only need 2 X-Antibody War Greymon. You only need 2 X-Antibody Elfmons, for instance. You only need 2 X-Antibody whatever. And that's the thing. So you don't need to have a playset of the harder to pull cards. Now you obviously need to have a playset of the uncommons, the commons, and rares for most things, I believe. But yeah, besides essentially the Elfmon stuff, it's just like, I just need to have a couple. If I buy 2 boxes and I get lucky and it's the ones that I need, I'm jamming, baby. If you obviously go to pre-release, it's a good chance you're going to pull something out of your 6-packs, unless you're me, and then do 5 pre-releases in a row and get pulled not even a super rare out of any of them. And then on your 6th one, you pull 2 alternate arts, 2 people. Where's the camera? There it is. Right there. Right there. 2 alternate arts, and you're like, fantastic. And then you kind of realise that you also pulled, with those 2 alternate arts, you pulled 4. So all your 6-packs had things in super rares, and then still lose your ass to the first person you play against because they just didn't synergize with your deck at all.
Was it Elaine again?
No, Elaine disappeared, I think. No, Elaine was playing with somebody else. It was Crimson Bear.
Crimson Brit.
Yeah, Crimson Bear.
Brit.
Yeah, in ours it's Crimson Brit, but in Gordo's he got renamed to Crimson Bear.
Oh, okay.
So when I first met him, I was like, oh, you're Bear. He was like,
what?
Yeah. It's like, oh, is it because you're a big lad like me? I don't know, Gordo to change my name. I was like, okay. Don't go further. As reference, I was chunky-ish when I still wasn't. I was like 12 stone when I left school. Like I was 5'10", quite broad. Because I don't really pull my shoulders out these days, but I was really broad. And I was like, oh, you don't mean I was bare. And then I left school, lost like 2 stone, and I was all like sexy. And then I think
that's when I met you.
And I was called Bear by the gay community because I was a bear.
And your sister.
I'm a sister. So I've always been used to being called Bear. So when I see another big guy, I was like, oh, Bear. And it's just like, oh, sorry.
You know, a Snorlax.
But wasn't a gay thing. Spirit animal. I miss the days of snoozing all day long. It's been many a year.
At least 5.
It's 5. 5.5. I'm sure my children, who should be more like me, will sleep in one day, right?
Hey, the littlest one's like you. He likes to sleep.
He likes to sleep, just at not the times he needs to sleep, like night time. So the reason why this wasn't up like 2 or 3 days ago, which is fantastic, really, is because he's just had like weird days where he'd like go for a tiny little nap in the morning, and he'd be tired by like 4, so he wants to have a nap at 4, and then he'd just go to sleep until like 10. It's like, oh, I guess we want to go to bed now because like, we're tired ourselves.
You know, I fell asleep yesterday.
He did. I was like, do you want to come do this thing? She's like, yeah. I was leaving you and let you sleep.
Says the man who fell asleep on the sofa.
Yeah, you know, first I had to do like an hour later on the sofa because I was like, I don't want to go to bed too early. It's my last day off where I can stay up late. I want to enjoy it. So And then, so Store Championship is a week after, so it's the 5th to the 28th, which essentially is just
Eddie's is the
August.
6th and the 20th.
Eddie's is the 6th and the 20th, and the 20th is the day of regionals. Oh, so we're now going to try and get tickets to the regionals because obviously those packs are fantastic.
You say we.
So we're going to try to get them. They're both. Well, it's such a weird time. Obviously, it's like 7 o'clock. It's like 8 o'clock in Germany and France and all that. I just can't remember if Germany's 2 hours ahead or 1 hour ahead. But for me, it's like peak working time at work. It's like the last hour of work. Like I can't really dip out to like try and buy tickets. It also works internet, which is like 0.0001 meg. And if you're the only person in the canteen, I might be able to watch a YouTube video or like take a phone call. So if I hope the internet's like
just go outside the canteen.
It doesn't work though because we're in the countryside.
Looks like me.
We're in the countryside, and our O2 service provider has been messing with the signal now for the last like 3 or 4 months, and it's in and out as much as a hooker in a bar, constantly. But yeah, so for those who don't agree with BT9 on the 31st, I don't really care. I'm used to stressing. But it definitely should be in for the 6th, and it definitely should be in for the 20th. Do you agree?
No.
Why do you not agree?
Said it should be like a 2-week grace period.
So
if it's supposed to come out on like the 29th, then it should be like the 13th-ish. There's 31 days in July, I believe, so 12th.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So
first store championship, no. Second store championship, yes.
So this is the person who obviously works for Bandai, and is saying like we need to make sure that the EX2 format was actually a thing. Because I think that's the other thing. Like people don't like EX2 format.
I don't care.
Okay, Bandai. So Bandai's representative in this conversation. You've got to buy these cards. You've got to play them at least once.
I mean, it makes sense to at least play them at least once. Yeah. I mean, doesn't it?
So I'm going to say this. I'm not even going to try for the Ultimate Cup because it's cheaper just to physically buy myself the Demi-Vmons now. Because they're like 15 quid on card market. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll pay 15 quid for a card market Demi-Vmon. I'll get a playset with postage for like 80 quid.
You hope.
Someone's selling 4 for like £75, like £5 postage. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll just do that then. Yeah, I said a while ago, this is the price of Demi-Vmon. Do you want to sell them now because this is where they go? No, I'll hold on to them. They're going to be worth loads in the future. Look at the Coromon. It's never dipped below like 40 quid. Now it's like pennies in comparison. Sure. Just always do. Very good at card game stocks for some reason.
Just doesn't do it himself.
I don't have anything worth selling. That's the problem.
You have 2 Coromons upstairs. You could have sold one of them.
Yeah, they're still worth like 50 quid though. As I was saying, the Coromon didn't dip. But it's because we didn't. So here's the weird thing. So in America, they did, I think, like 4 tournaments per Ultimate Cup. So there was 12 chances of getting Coromons. Fantastic. That's 3 playsets.
UK literally only had 4.
UK only had 3.
Oh, 3. So Elaine bought his for 4th one somewhere. I
don't think Elaine even entered any because I think he just bought them all. Yeah, so we know someone who I'm going to call is like the Greymon Simp or the Agumon Simp. No, his deck is fully pimped out. Besides, like... No, it's fully pimped out. So he's got like the highest rarity
pimped out as much as he can.
Pimped out the extreme at the moment. So he's got all the Agumons in like their max rarity. He's going to Store Championship Agumon's ongoing event pack 2. I just think they look nicer. I like the fractured like glass look in the background. He's got like all the Coromons. He's got all the Agumons in the highest form or pre-release if that's the highest form. He's got the Ultimate Cup Greymons when they're like £100 because he thought like they didn't worth anything, and now they're like 300 quid each. So it's like, yes, if I ever sell this deck, I'm making money. Good job, Elaine. You did the right thing. And then like all the Megas are in there, or like maximum rarity form. They're alt arts, and I think all the level 6s and level 5s are also in their max rarity. And I presume Omnimon, if he's got Omnimon, he should run Omnimon in that deck, is also a max rarity of some variety. There's so many of like the Blitz ones, you can just pick whichever one's your favourite. Mine's the one that's Stabbies. Catherine's is the one that's Garuru.
Not my fault.
It's definitely your fault. At least you got a playset now, so you can use them in your Metal Groomon deck.
Playset? I have a playset now?
You have 2. That's a playset. You don't want to play... Whoever is
playing... playset is 4!
No, so a playset of... The reason why I say it's playset is because you don't ever want to play more than 2 Omnimons in a deck, because if you can search it, great. If you can't search it, it's just a brick in your deck. Because if you go, oh, I'm just going to go play blue memory boost, you're free to the bottom of your deck. It's like, oh, fantastic. Hopefully you don't. There's always a chance. So they go advocations. EX free spoilers, because it's Japan time and they've been showing us all these cool things. What do you know of these, my wife, who doesn't look at the future of card games?
I know nothing except for the stuff you make in the videos, which...
She doesn't watch either.
Yeah, don't have time to watch.
She doesn't have time to watch my 2-minute videos. I'm getting like more rambly these days because I've got more things to say rather than... Originally it was like, I'm just going to do the shorts. So they're going to be shorts, they're going to go on. Because I don't make them portraits or landscape, they don't become shorts because YouTube just doesn't go. It's short video to turn into a short anyway. That's what they should do. I think that's where YouTube is failing shorts. It's supposed to like how TikTok is performing. Is they just think like it has to all basically just copy stuff from TikTok and put it in here. No, make anything that's under like 100 and anything that's under 100 seconds maybe classed as a short. It doesn't have to be portrait. Landscape. Be fine. It also make videos look nicer again because people record themselves and it's all like this. And it looks like trash. No, there's a time and a place, people. TikTok is the place. And I was like, sod it, I'm just going to make longer videos. So I went from being like 50 seconds to then being like, because they weren't turning into shorts, so I was like, sod it. Then they went to like 2-3 minutes, and I think now they're going to average like 4 to 6 because it's like, oh, this card works really well with this card, which synergizes with the card we've seen earlier in the set, or blah, 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 blah. But so what we've seen so far is we've got a double DNA evolving Imperialmon. Why not? We've got a blue-green Digivolving, possibly this set, hopefully this set, because it's going to be really weird otherwise, Examon, which has like, when I swing and murder one of your Digimon, I pop a security. But then it's also probably going to get piercing. He's got a giant drill arm. So it's going to get piercing. And we don't know what the blue stuff does yet. So half the blue stuff does this weird... I think. So it's really awkward because we're not sure where the blue stuff in the blue side goes in terms of evolutions. Because we know that Snow Agumon goes into Peldramon, into Cryopeldramon, into Azulong. But we know we need to get Wingdramon still. We know we need to get Slayerdramon still. So are we going to get a new level 4 and a new level 3 that go into those? Or do they just use the same level 2 and level 4, which is essentially if you try and digivolve off of a source that doesn't have an evolution source, it costs you 1 extra. So if you got both of those, then it would be 2 extra. And then a lot of people are going like, but DNA should now cost memory because you're digivolving possibly without having a source underneath it. And then the issue with that is just like, yes, but you don't pay with memory. And then would you technically have to pay per source? Because if you digivolve from 2 sources that don't have digitolutions, there you go. Does that then spend 2 per? So it's cost you 4 to DNA digivolve? I mean, Bandai, they'll let us know in the FAQ. It comes out at the end of the month. It comes out on the 29th, I think. So, release day for BT9 will be the release day for EX3 in Japan. And then hopefully we'll get EX3 like end of November, early December with no delays. Because there's a cool mill deck in that thing now. So those of you who played Demir in Magic and want a new mill deck, the new Agumon deck is a mill deck. And then you play possibly 2 or 3 Bowsermons and you just go pew 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 pew, win the game. Because I had 40 cards in my trash. Oh yeah. Yeah, so if you didn't know, the Bowsermon's like, if for every 10 cards in my trash I gain security.
That sounds like purple, but...
No, it doesn't. That sounds like Gilman.
Purple does something similar, does it not?
The closest thing they do is like Jack Raid, where it's like, for every 10 cards you
have...
they
don't
murder someone's security. It's not the same thing. Closest thing like that is essentially BT2 Gallantman, which is like, if you have trash in your security, I'm going to trash the top of your security cards. Which, if you can't kill me with that stupid Beelzebub, I'm going to murder you with my BT2 Gallantman in the next 2 seconds. Can you beat the game? You can't. Awesome. All right, swing, trash all your security, swing for the game. Because that's how that effect works. It's like, yes, I'm going to swing, activate my effect. My effect trashes all your security, and I win. All right. Play again? Yeah, sure, if you're playing Beelzebub. I'll win this time. Yeah, sure, whatever you say.
It's like me when I play against you. I will win. And then I lose.
You occasionally win.
And then I lose. And then I lose.
And then she'll win one game and she'll do the same. It's like, yes, I've lost. I've won my first game in like 30 games. I'm the best. Let's go. It's like, do you want to try a different deck? No, I won with this one. You also lost 29 games deck as well. I was like, no, it's good.
I refused to change from Blackwall Greymon for so long.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched the streams, I was obviously testing for Catherine, so she practiced decks for regionals. And I think he spent like a full week on like Blackwall Greymon. I was like, the deck's fine.
It's a fun deck.
The deck's fine. But it's not doing enough. It's not quick enough. Excuse me. That's the issue. You need to go super... So if you're going as like yellow, it's perfectly fine, because obviously yellow's just plodding along, just doing its thing. And like purple's saying, purple's just plodding along, doing its thing. It's not really bothering you. But then like Imperial and Armor Rush and...
That was the worst game ever.
I think those are like the two things that were kind of the faster decks in the format. They're going to kick you in the knees in like turn 3, so it's like you got to like try and outspeed them, which doesn't necessarily work. If you go first, it's a bit different. So you go first, you like build up your like stack a little bit. You give them like 2 memory, they do their thing. If they play anything on the field, you move out and then you just destroy their thing on the field because that's like your effects that they do. For instance, like if you can get into level Metal Greymon, black and red one, and he goes, "Oh, I'm out in the field now. Digivolve," and then whatever's got like 4,000 DP or less, or like I think it's 4,000 DP or less. Pop it. So if they did like a searcher for like something with a searcher Vemon, you just walk out there and shoot them back of the head. And you can't do anything then because you've crippled their gameplay. Or you at least slow it down a bit. But you've paid 4, so they've probably got 3 memory, so they go like, okay, I'll try and do something. So they'll move out like a Digimon from their stack, and then they'll evolve it, and then depending on how much money they've got left, they jogger us, but you're in a better position than they are because, you know, they have to spend more cards and they maybe get swing once and then cry. And then you go into metal and you punch them in the face and you go, oh, because I killed one of your Digimon, I get to unsuspend myself. So you unsuspend and then you hit a security and then you hit a Mega Death and you're like...
Goddamn Mega Death.
Just cry. But luckily you've got yourself a little Digimon out now. Digimon. So it's like, Pokemon.
Or you put an ADP on it.
You put an ADP on it, you could do. Or you just run the other one, the security, the BT11, which is like, I have security negation.
I have a built-in ADP.
No. So yeah, you get to hit for 2 if that's the case. And you also run like 2 of the Greymons from ST1 as well. So you get swing for 3!
And then maybe a tie.
And then maybe a tie. So you swing for 4! We have 2 ties in the field. You swing for 3. You swing 5. And it's like, oh, I'm going to my hand. I can win game. Yeah. Happens occasionally where like people swing into your security and you're like, oh, I have all this shit. Go. But then a lot of people realise that playing Blackwall Greymon like that didn't work very well because obviously you're hoping that you can punch for what you want, but you just sweep them. It didn't really work. And then people started bringing it back to be more mid-range, which is what it is. It's a mid-range deck. It's the perfect example of
mid-range deck. Would you like some of my water? No, don't die.
I have to do this bit.
God.
So try. So yeah, it's the perfect example of what a mid-range deck should be. No, I can't speak. Trying. So it should be the perfect. I can't make circular sounds like my front now. So it should be the perfect example of what a mid-range deck would be in Digimon. The issue with that is kind of how like Lilith works. Like Lilith is literally the perfect example of what a combo deck is in Yu-Gi-Oh. No, fuck, not dog.
Digimon. Maybe it's time for bed.
No, not yet. Should have just choked on my juice. That's really good. So yeah, so Blackwall Greymon is the perfect example of what a mid-range deck should be in Digimon. Like Lilith is literally the perfect example of what a combo deck should be in Digimon. The issue with either of those is because they are literally the only versions of those decks that we have. Because everything else is either just slow play the fuck, or it's just like I'm going to kick you in the shins by turn 2. They don't have a play set anywhere in the game because like that's all Digimon is. It's just aggro because it's built around the Japanese version, which is essentially best of ones, which is essentially I need to nut you in the nuts as quick as possible so I can win. Which is why Screw Control's so good, because it's like, oh yeah, you can try. You can try.
Did you just Stick your middle finger up.
Yes,
Did you do an Asmo-G?
No, that is literally what I feel like Security Control does to like the game. It's essentially just like a big middle finger to the game because it just messes with the core mechanic of you're meant to swing with these big massive ass monsters that are slapping each other around. And Security Control goes like, yeah, I don't care what you do. More security. Shall rule the day. So EX3 looks really cool. There's like at least 4 decks in the EX3 that I want to play just because they actually look like fun. Oh, and the weird thing to me, I don't think anyone's disagreed with me or really agreed with me, is the EX3 Guilmon line up until Maggie looks like it's more support for the EX2 Maggie than it is for the current Maggie, because it's all about milling or like deleting something. If it doesn't delete you, then mill something instead. So you're like, yeah, okay. Delete? No? Alright, mill 2 cards. Delete something? No, mill 2 cards. Delete something? Mill 3 cards. Delete something? Mill 5 cards. Oh, look, there's 10 cards in my security. Guess I'm just gonna jack raid. They'll go back in there. Next turn. Oh, I'm just gonna play a Matt. Just take the back of this jack raid. More. And then you do like a weird mill combo thing, which I don't think is going to work very well. But I think it'd be funny if your opponent's like, yeah, I'll be super aggressive, I'll just draw my whole deck out. It's like, alright, mill. And you've milled like 20 of their cards and they're like, oh, I'm drawing too many cards now. It's like, oh look, you've got no cards to draw. Hope it's not your turn, Tamer. Oh, you can't draw a card, I guess. Decker! Woo! Because you don't run Hybrid or Susan because you're a smart enough player not to run Susan in anything other than yellow. Because you're playing, presumably, another EX3 deck. Slash EX2. But I'm trying to think what they've got currently. So you've got Impilgrim in red. You've got a weird Dobrikmon that's just about essentially nuking someone's board and then sucking up all the dinosaurs and dragons and lizards into a stack with the X-Saver's ability.
You know you said his name wrong, right?
Dobrikmon.
You said Dobrikmon. It's not Dobrikmon, it's Dorbikmon.
It's Dobrikmon, if you play that again. Which Dobrik. Probably is Dobrik because it's D-O-B-R.
It's D-O-R.
So here's the thing. So it all depends on where they want to put the pronunciation. Because if it comes from the Japanese, it would be Dobrik. Because they would stop after the O.
But why would the R exist where it doesn't exist?
Dobrik. As in brick, as in like brick and mortar.
Yes, that's my point. Why would the R exist where it doesn't originally exist?
What do you mean?
Because the R is before the B.
What are you talking about? Dobrik. No, it's D-O-B-R-I-C-K. It's Dobrik.
Look it up on your phone.
I'm sure it's Dobrik.
It's
if not,
Door. It's Dorbikmon.
Dorbikmon.
Because it's in BT5.
It is in BT5. It was awful in that as well. I can't. I'll look somewhere else. So, I think it's this, but we shall see in a second. Maybe Dobrik or Dobik. But I think Dobik sounds even worse. I'd rather be Dobrik. Let me just cave your head in.
I told you it's D-O-R.
Oh, so it was yesterday's, right? Yeah. It is. Oh, it's Dorbik. Yeah, never mind. Right, everything's spelled wrong. Don't worry about it. Why is this video not getting any views? Everything's spelled wrong. Good. I don't know. I thought Dobrik is better.
Oh, God.
That's because Dobrik is something else, though. Dobrik is I think it's like a musician or something.
No idea.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was Dobrik because I thought it was named after like the artist or the like musician. So it's obviously a reference to Dobrik. It's like, no, it's not. It's just Dobrik. Or Dorbik. Call it Satan. God damn it, Satamon. Although I think we have a Satamon, so.
I
think it's a cute little teddy bear thing. And then he evolves into like this giant behemoth thing. It's like...
Not sure.
Yeah, I think Satamon's just like cute little teddy bear. But then like, as it gets angry, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it sounds like the Hulk.
Sounds like Digimon. It sounds like bloody Dybora and how what was it, the Lotmon line worked in the second movie. Everything is bigger now. I'm angry.
Pokemon.
Angry now. Slappy Antilamon. Digimon, you need to look more animated, thanks. Best line. Oh, I guess we ran out of budget. You need to look more animated. Thanks, Digimon. You're a true pal. You know, that's that weird, like, I think they're just trying to, like, move along and they're like, oh, look, it's related to X-Cross, Saber's ability. We did a thing where we're making the sets cross, right? They have to. We already know that BT11 is going to be an X-Cross set as well. They have to make them all combine into, like, one giant nut. You know, it's fine. And then blue is Azulong, which is the whole 4 great dragons thing, which looks to be like an odd deck. It's like, we're playing Mega Zoo, but we're going to miss out the level 5s and just play option cards that recur themselves. Build a deck out of it. I will do my best. But then you've got, like, Majoron that came out today. It's like, oh, I can go into the BT8 Azulong because it's a yellow-blue card, and I can upset things that way. Which is cool. Fine, you do you. Cool. When you swing, you can take a security off, or you can spend, I believe.
No idea.
No, it was BTA one.
It's Margiramon.
Margiramon. What is it? That's like the blue, and then the other side of the blue is the whole, like... Yeah, there's like 3 blue decks. There's 3 blue decks for whatever reason. There's the making shit cost more. There's the whatever they're going to do with the Wingdramon line, because they haven't done it with the Wingdramon line. That's the one we want to see now, because it obviously makes sense with the green stuff. We've got the blue line, which is like all the amphibians and aquatics and everything else just going like, oh, we just plop out of each other and make more shit. Great. Can't wait. That wasn't really annoying in all the other decks that do the same thing. But now it's do specifically with aquatic monsters. So try and get that lovely metal... what is it? Metal Seedramon. That's on play, delete 2 level 4s or whatever it is. Blob. Although Agitoswiftly looks really cool. No. Giant battleship.
No idea.
I'm going to do these things all over again. Watch me. And then he goes into yellow. And yellow is just like this weird, like, angelic searching line, and then it's screw control, and that's the yellow stuff.
Yellow stuff.
Yeah, it's just yellow stuff. It's all like deep. It's just security control and attack recovery and just yellow crap. It's like, oh yeah, you can delete something, or you don't delete something, or like gain something back, or all the yellow stuff, because, you know, they don't need new mechanics, because their old stuff is just constantly rolling around. Then it goes into green, which was like the plant stuff, which makes like Bloom Lord mon just hitting steroids constantly. Oh, all these things are constantly unsuspended on my side of the field. It'd be a shame if I could just gain all that memory back and do it all over again. And build a whole new stack and do it all over again. It's the end of the turn. Never again. So good. It looks really good, but I don't know how to play. Like the Bloom Lord Nightmare deck looks really good from BT10 anyway. But then like this is obviously like the other side of that deck. It's like, yeah, just jam it in. And it'll be fine. Just don't look at it. It'll be fine. Then the other green stuff is the Exoline stuff, which is like just weird. It's like, oh yeah, you can throw things down, you can make a stack, and you can DNA Digivolve, and you can warp Digivolve from 5 to level 7 with DNA Dissolution as well, because why not? Cool, right? And then we've got purple, which was, so far, it's the Gilmon stuff, but then we're going to eventually see the Stingmon stuff, or possibly the Stingmon. So it's really weird, because we don't know if we're going to get Stingmon in purple. Sorry, what is that? Don't know if we're going to get Wormmon in purple, which would be really cool, because we've been saying for a while we could do a Wormmon in purple. Just because it makes sense phonetically, theatrically, that Wormmon should be like purple and green, and originally, obviously, blue and green was Vmon. Now he's red. He's just going that way in the spectrum. What we need now is just yellow. We'll have the 4 up there, be fine, and just keep Wormy Boy and Stingmon in like the green, the purple, and the black.
We haven't had a green Vmon.
No, we could evolve from green.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as it can evolve from it, I normally said like it classes that colour correlation, even though it's not necessarily green itself. So that's like that stuff. And then yeah, you got the Gilmon line of just like, we do meal stuff now, which works really well with kind of both the decks, but not necessarily for the current one. Because the reason why you want to mill your deck out essentially is like you want to get your 4 greats totem, whatever it is, into the trash, and it will recur itself. Because of Maggie's effect, it's like get a Gilmon out, slap out this thing from the trash, slap some people across the face, you know, usual stuff. But then the other Maggie's just like, mill everything, go, mill it all. And then that's purple we know of. Again, we're just waiting for like the purple line. So again, we're kind of like hoping for a level 3 Worm Boy. Then possibly a Shadramon, which is like the butterfly dragon thing that I think Wormmon can digivolve into with the crest of courage. Maybe.
Well,
Egg of courage. Digimental of courage. And then we know we're getting Dynabemon anyway, so we know that's coming. Which I presume is also a DNA Digivolution source that can hopefully bring back Pale, because Pale Driller can suck out Dino from the trash. And then we've already seen we're getting a cool red, purple Imperialmon. Or he's purple red.
Imperialmon.
Imperialmon, yeah. So I'm not sure if he's purple red or red purple. But he's one of the colours, so I presume the way it's gone, I think he's purple red. So I did presume at one point that we're going to get because it just says fighter mode, suck it on top of it for like the cost at the end of your turn. So we're even be playing the weird blue-green one, because it's the only fight mode we have access to. But I thought originally, if it's a purple-red Imperial, we'll obviously get a red-purple fighter mode. But we're out of spaces now. So we're not. So if we've got spaces for purple, which we might, I haven't seen the Megas area. I've got a funny feeling we're out of Megas as well, which means we're probably going to get the red-purple fighter mode from it, or we'll get it in BT11 maybe. Yeah.
Have they revealed the sex yet?
No, we won't get them to the end. They're pretty good with the sex.
So it could be the sex.
Excuse me. So unless we get free security in this, because I think we're getting 2. I don't think they're announced free for this yet. We're probably getting Fenlongmon, which is like all the great dragons sucked into one body. And we're going to get Exa, I believe, because there's nowhere else for it to fit. So that's what I think anyway. We've got ourselves the new Tamer, which is from Lynx, or like D-Lynx, or whatever it's called. The mobile game that no one played because I don't think it came outside of America, outside of Japan. So you had to like kind of like homebrew it, and then I think you got suspended after like 2 years, because they always do that with their mobile games. Yeah, don't play any of the Bandai mobile games that you spend money on, because the second they get bored, they just pull the plug. Even if they're making money out of it, I don't understand that. So yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, this is like a weird D-Lynx / Great Dragons deck builder set, which is fine. But it's nice to see. She's got a weird ability where it's like when you Digivolve, you may play. When you Digivolve, you can activate an on-play effect of that Digimon. So people are like, oh, okay, that's really cool. And people are like, oh, you can act. So you see, but you can also activate per card. So if there's one like, for instance, like Metal Dramon or Metallic Dramon, I think it is. It's on play DNA de-Digivolve one of your opponents. Oh no, sorry, de-Digivolve all of your opponents' Digimon by 1. We can activate that 4 times. So de-Digivolve all of your opponents' Digimon by 4. And I think it's if it's under like 5 cost, or if it's under like 5,000, just delete it. It's like, oh, look at that big field you have there. A shame if I just tap everything. Gone. Well, okay. And then if you have a Tamer in play, it gets block and reboot. Awesome. What a thematic that's going to be. 4 Tamers in the field. What can your pitiful cards do now?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. So that's kind of what we've seen so far. So yeah, we're missing like the blue stuff. We're missing, I think, a little bit of the red stuff. Missing half the purple stuff. But then I think everything else is sort of known now. But we've got 3 weeks-ish until it comes out. Normally with Japan stuff, they kind of start doing like previews a week or so ahead of time, and then they slowly start rolling out the alt-arts. Obviously there's 30 alt-arts, so what they might do is get everything out early, and then go, oh guys, we've got like 2 weeks left, so we're going to give you 2 alt-arts a day, which they could definitely do. And then be like, ta-da! Aren't they pretty?
No. Maybe.
So yeah, there's some cards I don't like the look of, like, what was it? There's something I did not like the look of at all. It looked really chunky. Dark Dramon has like a really weird elongated body for some reason. Don't like it. I'm hoping the alt-art looks more actiony or
normal.
Bang! You know, just actiony and not just like slinky lizard Dramon. I think that's all the thing to talk about, because I'm pretty sure the wife's kicking me in the leg now to go home. Go to bed.
I'm already home. Can't go anywhere.
You're already home. We live here. Sometimes I sleep here. So let me just check the old agenda, which I always spell wrong. agenda. And that's it. Last one, which is going to be quite quick. Tier 0 decks, are they actually good for card games?
No.
No, they're not. No card game should ever boast about how many Tier 0 decks it has. If your card game is so unbalanced that you have to have a Tier 0 deck, you're playing a really, really shit card game. Because as much as a company's out to make money, if they can't make a card game have more than one deck that's good, they're a bad company. Like, super bad. Every format should have 2 or 3 decks that are actually just as good as each other. And I don't mean like America good, where like half the people can't read their cards again. We'll do the loop now, people. If you read your cards, you'll realise that some of those decks are absolutely shit and should not be getting played. It's like, right, rephrase that. Shivamon, fantastic. Thank you that someone won it. I just wish that they had won because their opponent could read their cards. And not essentially just like fall over to their own stupidity. Which the person then did admit that they were stupid, and I'm like, fair enough, mate. You've obviously admitted to it. It's too late now. No, I think the person realised it literally as they finished that game off. Went, oh shit, I had jamming, and went like, can I take that back? It's like, no, you lost. You went like 2 more turns and died. Although I think you had like game on board. Oh, America, you make me cringe hard when it comes to just like basic simples of reading card games. But yeah, so T0 decks, bad. Multiple decks per format, good. Because even if you did look at everything else, everyone was like, this deck is tier 0. Lord Nightmon, I think it won like 3 things out of like 12. Blue Hybrid, I think won like 4 things out of like 12. I'm trying to think what else has won. Unless you're Fenton, where like Lothmon is just like some kind of like secret crack that only he can play. Because I think Fenton's won like 3 or 4 tournaments, like regionals and stuff like that with that
deck.
It's
always the same deck, isn't it?
It's literally the same deck. The only difference between this deck and the last one was like it's got Creepmon in there. Creepmon. Well, this is the weird thing. I think the same. No, you're not. It might have been the same week, but the American regionals won with Lilith with Creepy, and then obviously Fenton then took that deck, changed it a little bit, and then won with that deck. So it's always like it's a good deck. It's obviously a good deck, and it's obviously you play it, and you know what you're doing. It's good, but obviously it's not good enough that like average Joe can pick up and go like, yeah, I can play these cards because you got to read. Just trying to think what's actually been winning. Like, Yellow Hybrid wins because it just basically a person falls asleep after like 40 minutes. Blue Hybrid was just essentially a deck that wouldn't let their opponent play because essentially it's like, oh, you wanna fight back? You're stunned. Next turn, oh, you're stunned. Next turn, oh, you're still stunned. I don't know what's going on. But just in case, here's an Ice Wall. That's a good look. And then what was it? Green Hybrid technically won last week because read your cards or just know what your cards do. I think Red Hybrid, really good deck. Won't win if Blue Hybrid's around though because your stack fell off because there was like 4 Tommies in security.
Oh, goddamn Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy, the death sentence. Stupid Tommy. Purple Hybrid.
Tommy should be banned.
Tommy should be banned. Stupid. It costs 3. I'm going to remove 3 sources. Okay. Or we should just get cards that say it's like ADP that says, oh yeah, ignore all security effects. So, bye Tamers. Get out. That's kind of why I like the whole like trashing cards things because no 9 times out of 10 it's a Tamer and the Tamer's just going to be a pain in the ass because it's Tommy. Guy's playing Red Hybrid as Tommy. He's goddamn scary.
Just so you can use an Ice Wall.
Just so you can use an Ice Wall / like stop me from playing the game. Black Hybrid's not really a thing because Black Hybrid was 2 level 4s and they went, that's enough. Good job, everyone. What was it? Yeah, because they didn't get a level 5 hybrid. They got the Mega, which was like ancient Volcano Mon. Good pump. And I think they got Volcano Mon, but that's not a hybrid in that deck. So they never got like the access to like the cheap Digivolving option that every other deck got. And it's like, oh, you guys get all these options. Black, no. We've told you before, we're not making any decks for you yet. You've got to wait another 2 sets before you actually get a full deck. It's only been a year and a half. We'll get there eventually. But then what have we got now? So we got D-Reaper, a white deck. Sorry. A yellow-white deck. Because we can't have just a white deck with it. Because otherwise Isamon would win something, right?
Yes.
They wouldn't win anything either way. I can't even get your name right. That's how terrible you are. But no. So yeah, Tier 0 decks, not very good. Tier 1 decks, also good, because you can normally have like 3 or 4 of those per format. And as you can just go back and look through like anything that Bandai's basically put out there for the last few months, like here's all the tournament statistics, here's what's winning, here's what's losing, so forth and so on. You look at like the top 10, I think they do top 10 for America, I don't think they do anywhere else. You'll get like a couple of the same decks, so you'll get like, when it was like really popular, Rapid Hybrid, there's like 3 of like the top 10 decks. Imperialmon is like 3 of the top 10 decks. I think you'll see like one Mastimon normally like the top 10, and then you'll get like some jank decks that have just somehow like snuck through because their opponents either just weren't very good or they got very lucky and they've just basically rolled through with like one weird loss at the early. That's the weird thing a lot of people think, like, if you don't care about coming first, coming second's pretty good, because if you lose your first game, but then you just steamroll for the rest of the competition because everyone's basically a little bit worse than the person you should be going against, you can generally get like top like 6 with that. It's not a hint. It's not like a secret technique if you don't care about getting first, because you should always want to get first when you do tournaments. But yeah, if you basically go like 1-2 in your first round, but then you 2-0 everyone else till then, you'll get second, because you're probably the only person that's done that record. Zooming. Friend of the channel, Phil Lee. I think he did that. I think like his first round or his second round was like 2-1 to his opponent, but then he 2-0'd everything else. Or I think it was 2-0 to the last match. Maybe it was like 2-1, but he won that one. True hero, true story, and true hero. Phil Lee, friend of the channel. Love you, Phil. But that's the first podcast in our abode. Yeah, this is what you're going to get. If you guys do enjoy this, then thank you. This will be available, if I can figure out how to render sound audio only, onto other sites like Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, Spotify. I don't know. There's like dozens of these things now where you can just put it on there for free and be like, here's a podcast, have fun. But yes, if you've enjoyed my ramblings, because there always will be ramblings, and you've enjoyed my wife sitting here beautifully for the last like hour and a half, just nodding along and occasionally going no and yes and correcting me while I choke to death. Then yeah, so hopefully we'll see. We might just do this once a month. Possibly I can get some guests on, so that way this lovely lady's not having to be my co-star, because I know she doesn't really want to be here. She's not really happy to be on camera, which is why she's going boobies out first and not face first. Whereas me, I'm just like,
no, they just hurt. They're heavy.
Well, they're big boobies. She needs to go rest her boobies now. So, but we will see you guys soon for more videos, and hopefully you enjoy this. Fingers crossed the audio doesn't sound like absolute trash can garbage, but I can't promise that. So, fingers crossed the audio isn't definitely stupid. But we'll see you guys soon. So, peace out, goodbye, and...
I was going to say, do you want to mention something for Eddie? Possibly,
maybe.
No?
No, Eddie, so end of the video that no one's going to see, because if you got past the first 10 minutes, thank God you're doing us a favour. Griffin's Gaming, which is Eddie's company, will be doing a 3 versus 3 tournament in October of this year in the UK, in the Birmingham area. Specifically, I don't know when, because specifically I don't know where, because I have no idea if Eddie's booked the venue yet, or if he's still trying to figure
booked it.
So, do you know where it is? Don't come up with these facts if you don't know the full facts.
I remember him saying he's already booked it. It cost him $1,000, but I can't remember specifically where it was.
If you're a tamer in the UK and you have 2 willing participants that you can take with you, head their asses down to Birmingham and then possibly to the area.
The tickets are on the website already.
Tickets on the website. It's £60 now. If you wait until after August 22nd, I believe they go to £66. That's the biggest jump in the world. But yeah, if you can take 3 friends down there. Minimum participations will be 14 teams, so it would be... What's 3? 42?
That doesn't sound right.
42, yeah, because 46 is 12, 39, 42. So 42, if there's 42 players, so 14 teams, then it will be win a half case tournament. So So essentially, if you are the winning team, you'll get 2 boxes each, just a half case between you. Next ones get a box each, and then like halves further down the line. If there's the maximum capacity, which I believe is 40 teams.
40 teams, and then side events too.
So there'll be 40. So how it will work then is there's 40 teams. I believe the amount of prizes goes up. So if there is 40 teams, it could be like a like 2-box, like 3-case tournament maybe.
Not sure.
So yeah, like basically you and your boys will be walking home with like 9 boxes each. So you better be nice to each other and swap all tarts when you got them. But that'll be a BT10 winning case. So if you and your boys are looking for those shadow Alphamons that are very pretty, not necessarily that good, but very pretty, then you could be with a chance of winning your own weight in cardboard. That's right, you win 6 boxes each, not 12. Well, about 9. Yeah, so 3 cases between them, you'd win half a case each. Still pretty good. I think pricing does trickle down a bit more if that's the case. If there is like 40 teams, I think top 10 takes something home. Like,
he has said that he will also be throwing in other prizes too.
There's participation prizes, so I think like you'll get like the newest possible TP set as well. There might be like box toppers that you could get for entry, and there's side events. So depending on what the side events are, might depend on what.
He's looking at making play mats as well for like top 8.
They can play mats. I asked for a play mat because I'm a judge. I'm gonna be a judge. I said, "Oh, Jenny, can I have a play mat?" The judge goes, "No, I have a shirt." I was like, I guess I'll take a judge shirt then.
I judged Team Tamers.
Yeah, so the event was called Team Tamers, which to me sounds like a team of Tamers playing at Team Tamers. That's what I said. Like, it sounds okay. It sounds like the name of a team and not like the event. Like I said, it should be called like the Triple Tamers Tryouts, as in like the event. Try and make it sound like the event is really big, but no.
Simple makes sense.
Simple doesn't make sense because that sounds like the name of a team. So if someone comes up with the name Team Tamers, which I'm not saying you should, but if you do, good on you. You'll just confuse everyone. Team Tamers? Yeah, it's us. Oh no, we meant the event. Oh, but you called Team Tamers.
On 22nd of October too.
Which is the day for our anniversary. Ooh, married for 4 years. I don't know how I'm still alive, but she's still married to me. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's essentially it. So yeah, any big events in the UK, that will be it. He's had permission from Bandai so that he can run this event. They said essentially, you can run it, we're happy for you to run it, but you don't get anything official from us, so like there's no official merchandise from Kailas themselves. I don't know if Asmodee will be like, yeah, cool, we love big events, here's a flyer or whatever. So we'll know probably close to the day, unless they shut it down. Shut it down! But fingers crossed they shouldn't, and if they do shut it down, which makes no sense whatsoever. It's an official event.
I mean, it's had permission, so
it
shouldn't be
an unofficial, permissioned, official event, but it's not an official event, so it's not like a lot of regionals. But yeah, this could be the first proper 3 versus 3 tournament, which I don't think he's come up with a name for it yet.
Team Tamers?
No, that's the name of the event.
Oh, no idea then.
The format. 3-on-3, 3-headed 3 people with 3s. Triple Tamer tactics go. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for being here. It's an hour 40. I was hoping it'd be a little less
rambly.
No, I always like the rambly part. A little less choky. Dying on camera is not how I want to go.
Well, don't slurp down all you drink at once.
It's because like all the squash is like sat at the bottom, so I was sort of thinking it's like
See, water is so much better. You can't die on water.
Oh, you definitely can. There's no hole.
So can squash.
So I'm trying to. Bye everyone. Peace out. See you soon for the next video, which hopefully will be in the near future.
Bye.